Do you consider yourself creative, or do you think that creativity is reserved only to a certain type of artistic people? I only recently discovered that I was creative, and it completely changed my outlook on life. Hello, my name is Aretha, and today I'd like to talk about creativity, what it means, why it matters, and how to embrace it. Growing up, I did not consider myself a creative person. I thought creative people were these eccentric artists that just came out with new things out of thin air. I was always told that I was good in math, I was analytical, I was logical. So I kind of decided that being creative and being analytical were not compatible. So I decided that creativity was not for me. I have since discovered that there's a whole spectrum of creativity. Yes, you have your paid artists that are putting art out there that is unique and sells and is fantastic, but creativity is really accessible to all of us. There's creativity in how we solve our problems. There's creativity in how we get dressed. There's creativity in how we choose to organize our lives. There's creativity in how we make meals. So all of us have bursts of creativity that we use without even realizing it. There aren't a whole lot of brand new things that get created out of thin air. A lot of the inventions that we are impressed with are actually repurposing existing ideas into new configurations and adding a special spin to them. And if you think about creativity as repurposing existing ideas, then it becomes available to all of us. Every time you put your own spin on something out there in the world, anytime you come up with a different way to approach a problem, you're being creative. Isn't that cool? I've said this in my videos before, but I tend to devour self-help content. I read a lot of books, even in areas that don't seem directly relevant to me. So I've been reading a lot of books on creativity, and that has really helped demystify creativity to me. So creativity is not some kind of personality quirk that is reserved to the geniuses out there. We think about artists as people who kind of disappear into a dark room and emerge only when they have this masterpiece to share with the world. But that's not all that creativity is. You can be creative in ways that fuel you and not necessarily put stuff out in the world. You can be creative for your own benefit. But the creative process is a lot messier than that. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of creating a lot of things that people don't relate to. There's a lot of failure in the process. And there's a lot of trying. It's a numbers game. The most creative people try a million things for one of them to emerge and be fantastic. So if you understand that creativity is trial and error and it's a numbers game, it's putting out as much as possible so that something emerges as a masterpiece, then you realize that creativity is accessible to all of us. I can try and fail. I can try 100 things. I can try a million things. And maybe one of them turns out amazing. Completely changed my perspective on what creativity meant. It's not the heavens don't part and then some kind of light falls upon the artist and then the artist starts creating this masterpiece. It doesn't work like that. It's a lot of messy work. It's a lot of frustration. It's a lot of trial and error to finally have something emerge. And that's surprisingly encouraging. But why does creativity matter? Creativity is not just for artists out there who try to earn a living by creating masterpieces into the world. Creativity is important for all of us because it allows us to express ourselves as opposed to repressing parts of ourselves. It allows us a certain freedom, and it allows us to be flexible and find new, different, innovative ways to solve our own problems in our everyday lives. So creativity helps us be more resilient, helps be free from like our mind perspective and our desires perspective. And it helps us find ways to adapt, be flexible, and react to the world as it is because we're not tied to a rigid way of operating. And if you want more scientific arguments for why creativity is important, there's a growing body of literature out there talking about the benefits of creativity for things like stress reduction, minimizing depression, improving your mental well-being, and things like that. But even in the workplace, they're always telling us to think outside the box, come up with a new way to present this sales pitch, If you work in marketing, creativity is at the core of everything you do. But even if your job is in financial management, you can be creative in how you create graphs and how you present the information to other people so it makes sense to them. So there's not a job out there that couldn't benefit from creativity. Creative problem solving is at the core of business. There are many ways to fuel your creativity, but I would like to share 5 of them in this video. First, talk to other people about their creative pursuits. We always meet up with friends and coworkers and new people and talk about how busy we all are, talk about our jobs, talk about what's happening in the world. But what if we instead talked about our hobbies, what new things we're trying, what excites us, what inspires us? I think that would be a completely different conversation that will leave us invigorated and excited to do things, as opposed to walking away feeling like you just talked about the same problems as we always talk about. So reframing and talking to people about their creative pursuits and sharing your creative pursuits. And who knows what inspiration you can get out of that. The other thing you can do is try new things often. Sign up for that cooking class, or go take a music lesson, or try skydiving. That's an actual thing that I've done. I remember when I went skydiving, we had a group of friends and we were all talking about doing this, and it sounded like a good idea. Everyone was on board, but no one ever pulled the trigger. I was so excited to try that I went by myself with no friends, no one from my side following me, and it was the best experience ever. So I went and had my first tandem jump several years ago. And since then, I've done several jumps on my own, and I love it. There's something about trying new activities that inspires you to do even more. And I think it's because it creates a version of yourself in your mind that is different than the version you were before. So there's the me before skydiving, and then there's the me who tried skydiving, and this new me has so many more possibilities. So try it out. It doesn't have to be skydiving if you're not into that, if you're afraid of heights, but try something new as often as you get the opportunity to. Another thing that helps with creativity is to step into your playful side. Do you like coloring books? Do you like to doodle? Is there anything that you like to do for fun that is a creative expression of your personality? Maybe you can try some creative writing. Whatever it is, find an activity that helps you tap into your playful, more creative side and let it loose. The results that you produce don't have to be for mass consumption. You don't have to share them with the world if you don't want to. Another idea is to switch up your environment. So if you always work from home, maybe go into the office every once in a while just so you can feed off of the energy of other people around you, or go to a co-working space, work out of a coffee shop. I think there's something about people watching and just being around the energy of others that sometimes can inspire us. Another major way to switch up your environment is to travel. Travel is always such an inspiring experience. Every time you travel, you get exposed to how things are done differently elsewhere, and then you can be inspired to bring back some of those ideas and some of those practices to your own life. And lastly, get inspired and record inspiration. Start with managing your inputs, and I talked about this in a different video. But instead of scrolling through content that makes you feel inadequate, makes you feel envious, or makes you feel like you're better than someone else, maybe you can curate your feeds to show you things that inspire you, that make you want to try new things. Start with managing your input in a way that feeds your inspiration. And then when wild ideas come into your mind, write them down. But you can also document other things. You can save pictures that inspire you. You can start a Pinterest board. Whatever way that you get inspired, document that. When you're ready to tackle something creative, that'll be a great resource for you to go back to get the right energy flowing through your brain. Those are some easy tips you can use right now to explore your creativity. But remember to create space for your mind to process all these inputs, mull things over, connect the dots, and feed you new ideas. And if you haven't already, go watch my video on productivity addiction and how to overcome it.